Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we have been joined this evening or this morning or whatever time you're watching this around the world, perhaps, by none other than six-time world champion, absolute legend of the sport, Adam Raga. So thank you so much, Adam, for giving up your time and coming on to have a quick chat with us.
You're welcome. It's always a pleasure to be here with you and with all the people watching.
Well, thank you very much. It probably happens more often in Spanish than in English. So I know you have quite a few fans, English-speaking fans from various countries around the world. So hopefully this will be quite good to sort of connect with them and let them hear all about your illustrious career. So without further ado, we'll move on. So how did you get started in the sport? I'll start there, and then we'll go from there.
Yes, I started in trial because my father was a big fan of this sport. He was a amateur rider, and since I was born in this moment, he was a champion from the region I live in, Tarragona, no? And since I was very small in my house, we were watching videos. We were always watching races from the world round, from the national rounds around my house and everything. So, like in a family where they are passionate of football, we were passionate of trial.
Obviously, your father competed or rode competitively as well. So, at what point did you decide that you wanted to compete and see how far you could maybe go in the sport?
Around 12, 13 years old,
Uh-huh.
14, this age, I understood about what brings you the training. Like before that, I was doing it because my father was the one who was pushing the most, like let's go racing or let's go training. But before that age, you don't have really do what you want. You don't know exactly what you want. But it's true that when I was 12, 13, I start to feel that I like this thing about the competition, go to the races, make good result, beat your contenders, fight, all this. Then I want to go training at the same time in during the week because I feel stronger in the weekend. And this happened up around that age. And it's really nice because it's you are growing as a kid, and the sport brings you many extraordinary things about this, no? But the most important thing is about even we don't. I'm not talking about success. I'm just talking about discipline, being organized,
Yeah.
all the things that this is the sport who bring you. Doesn't matter which sport, but when you realize that with a healthy life, with a good training, with a good sleep, and all this, you get better performance means a lot. I mean, for anyone, we don't talk about the success. We talk
Yeah.
about the good way in life. No?
Yes, the other benefits of the sport. I think that's probably overlooked actually by a lot of people. Um, so so from 14, then you started to sort of compete more seriously, I suppose. So what would have been your first sort of major achievement then as a youth rider?
Yeah. When I was young, my father he always changed the category to upgrade before I was able to win the category. So he was always when I was around fourth, fifth, third, he changed for the next one. So when I get to 14, 15 years old, I win the Spanish Junior Championship, which was a super great achievement. With my father, we was a private team. We was training in our home, and we make our plans, and everything happened what we thought during the winter. So we train very hard. We prepare the bike, everything, and then we go to the Spanish Championship and win. That was for us a great success, and this happened in 1997. And after that, also my level was growing up very fast.
Yeah. And then well, you must have then moved pretty much straight from there into the World Championship, because if I remember correctly, you scored your first world championship point in 1998.
Yes.
Is that correct? In France?
Yes, in the second day of my first round, I scored that first point. That was for us like a super success in that time
Yeah.
where many riders were competing in the world rounds. Was
Yeah.
many big names in these races, and to be on top 15 was for us something that we
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah, just to score points back then was a pretty good achievement for by on anybody's standard. Um, I was at that trial. That was at a place called Saint Jean de Maurienne in France, and I remember the practice area being probably the most dangerous thing I've ever seen because there was a railway line right beside it. I don't know if you remember, but there
Yes.
was you'd be standing watching the practice, and in the next minute, a train comes past at whatever speed they do, 300 or 400 kilometers an hour. It was just the most ridiculous.
Yes, I remember. I remember a little bit, and but was not Saint Michel de Maurienne. I think was
Was
Villiers
it?
le Grand. Villiers le Grand was another
Maybe,
place close
maybe.
by Saint Michel, I think.
Yeah, maybe,
But
maybe.
yeah, I'm very similar, but it
Yeah.
was this other name.
And another thing, I think you were involved in Geordie's Andorra gas team. Is that correct at that time?
No, no.
No.
At that time, I was not involved in any team. We were like a private team, like with my father and this. We was training with one group of riders with a shop called Zona Cero,
Yes.
and we had some trainings with Luis Gallac as a teacher, but we never been before that with Jordi Terres. But it's true, after that thing with these points, after the championship in 97, when Jordi Terres retired in 97, he created the School of Champions with Gas. And then at the end of 1998, at the end of that year, I became a professional rider, and I ride for Gas and Jordi Terres team.
Yeah. And I think you had a couple of teammates at that time that people would probably recognize as well. I think was it Mark Frisha and Albert Cavastani?
Yes, in that year, the year before I was riding in the team, was there Marcel Justriveau, was there another rider called Marc Cadja and Marc Freixa. But then for 1999, at the end of 1998, they Cadja and Justriveau go and enter Albert and me. And then we start that season joining Marc Freixa in the team, and was very good for me because these riders, they were much better than me. His level was much higher. They were also older, 2 years Albert and 3 years older Freixa, and was perfect because for me was a big reference to catch them. No.
Yeah, yeah, big incentive. Big incentive. So from 98, 99, I remember that you did a season in the British Championship.
2000.
What? 2000, that was 2000. I couldn't remember if it was 2000 or 2001. What did you think of that compared to obviously coming from the Spanish and the World Championships? It was probably quite different for you.
Yes, look here. This is the helmet. This is the
Yeah,
helmet
yeah,
from the
yeah,
British Championship that John Shirt made for me. And it was my first helmet that was painted with this shining stuff on,
yeah.
and with my Catalan flag, English flag, and was very nice. So I was very happy with this present from John Shirt. Was
I'm sure.
and all these things that going to England came because the owner of Gas in this moment, Narcís Casas, wants me to go riding in Italy. For the market in this moment was pushing very hard the sales in Italy, and they had not a rider there. And he proposed this to Jordi, and Jordi say, "Hey, if you want Adam's benefit, don't send him to Italy where they are not good riders. Send him to England, where they are the best riders in the moment. No, Dougie Lampkin, Steve Coley, Graham Jarvis, and one thing very good that will be very good for Adam is that he will ride in the mud, in the raining conditions where I was very, very bad. I'm
Yeah.
coming from a region in Spain where everything is dry, it's not many rain, everything is quarries and stuff like that. So I was good in these conditions, but not in the mud and all these things. So everything happened this way, and really I had a very, very nice season, and I enjoy a lot being
Yeah.
in England with the trail and everything.
Yeah. Do you remember around in Northern Ireland that year at a
Yes.
place?
What how was called? How was called this place?
It was Castlewellan.
Ah, Castlewellan.
Yeah, that was yeah, wet, muddy, hailstones, just about
Yeah, yeah.
4 seasons in one day.
Yeah, yeah, it was incredible, and for me it was so difficult. I was asking Dougie, "Hey, what I have to do? Full gas. I need
Full
to
gas.
control the throttle. I need to go on the right, on the route, out of the route. I understand nothing." And when I get going back home, I remember Jordi was laughing, and he say, "You were beaten even by the minders," and it was true because in this race I finished fifth or sixth, and I think Ben Hemingway beat me. People that were like sometimes minders or something, many riders. So Jordi was laughing at me, and I say, Jordi, this race was so different that what we are used to, and I could not understand nothing. So
Yeah.
was very good and a very good experience. And in that season, I improved a lot in the mud. I thank also Steve Saunders that he was the one in charge to train me in this time, and he make a good job with me. And after I became one of the riders that is riding better in this condition. So
Hmm.
was a very good work with Steve Saunders in the mud and trying to do all your techniques.
Yeah. It's a bit different. It's a bit different. You also did the Scottish 6 Day trial.
Yes.
What did you think of that? And would you come back and do it again?
Yes, I will come back, and I will come back this year to do it again. I thought I will never come back because I was a little angry when I was riding there. Uh, we had like some troubles with the delays where some riders had more time in some delays than the others, and already the first days we was very penalized, and about that was something that affects me because I really like this race, and for me, it's one of the best race and more popular of trial in the world. But in that time, we had like in the years I rode, I had some problems with this, and I was a little bit angry. But yes, I'm coming back this year, and I'm really looking forward to it.
There you go. World exclusive. Adam
Yeah.
Raga is going to be riding in Scotland this year. Very good. I'm a bit gutted now I didn't put an entry in. Anyway, moving on. In terms of Spanish championship titles,
Yes, yes, yes.
um, how many titles have you?
I have like in between indoor and outdoor 8 titles,
8. Wow.
and eight Spanish titles, and yes, quite a lot of titles, of course. Yes.
Yeah. And the Spanish championship, did the Spanish championship ever go to the no stop rule, or did it always stay stop allowed?
Oh, it's hard, and now I don't remember.
I was trying to
I
remember
make
and I couldn't remember.
I make more in, let's say, in Trial GP. I make more than 27 seasons in Spanish Championship, and now I don't remember exactly if we were to non-stop, but we were in open free. I can say that we were in many different kind of rules, but I don't know if was a year that we did non-stop. It's possible. It's possible
Uh,
that we did maybe,
I
but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I was doing a bit of research during the week, and I couldn't see I couldn't find out for myself where that I thought I would ask you, but obviously 27 years it's kind of hard to remember.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to remember all that stuff. So you've you've worked your way up through obviously the youth and then into the world rounds and gradually steadily moved your way up. And then I suppose was it 2004 Was it 2000? Am I getting that right or wrong? Was it 2004 you had your first victory
Indoor?
in outdoor in trial GP?
No, my first victory. You mean the championship or one race?
In yes, race victory.
Race victory arrived in 2001
Oh,
in Goldendale, America. And
okay.
this year I also get another victory in Czech Republic, and was fantastic. The first victory arrived. We were using the new Gas Pro,
Yeah,
and we really struggled a lot because we was coming from one bike that was the weight was around 80 kilos, and I get this bike that was around 70 kilos. So it was very difficult for me to, when I first test the bike, I think, wow, this is so light, so good. But then when we start racing, we had many problems because the bike was not effective, 10 kilos less. And in this moment, I had not experience, and was I struggled a lot to set it up, to set the bike up. But with the help of Jordi and all the mechanics in the team, we every race we was improving with the bike, and we was in Japan where I achieved the podium in the race of Motegi, and after that we fly directly to America, and in America arrived the first victory. It was very good because we were carrying this bike in bags, in separate bags, and we when we arrived to America in the training area, the bike stops about 13 times, and we had a problem with the electrics, and we didn't know. But then we realized that one electric component was getting too hot and then blocks. So we moved this component outside the frame, and the bike started to work, but after a lot of work. So it
yeah,
was a victory. The victory was incredible.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, Arizona would be if anywhere is going to be warm,
Yeah.
it'll be Arizona, and that was. I mean, I remember that bike too. That was a proper prototype. Actually, it was probably the last, almost probably the last real sort of prototype that has been in trial GP. So they're more just evolutions now, really, of existing bikes. That was the last sort of major step forward, maybe in bike technology. I'm going to say,
Yeah, that was incredible. The risk we take in this year with this bike was something that nobody can understand, and the luck we have the same. Uh, we had only in many parts of the bike we had only this part,
yes,
and the good thing was that I was not breaking anything. I was lucky because also of my riding style that I don't break a lot, so I'm not a rider that breaks a lot of parts. So we keep going and we keep going, and then in some months after arrive more parts. But after this promotion, everything that happened in this moment was looking so good. Everybody wants the Gas Pro, and we was riding with that bike with no parts, and having victories and good results, and was something incredible.
yeah, and I suppose that was the start. Then, I mean, you became over the course of the next few years, you became sort of quite dominant on that bike, particularly indoor.
Yeah.
And I remember always coming out the sections with the cheeky little look back and all that. That was a sort of, I look back at that as a sort of that was a golden era of outdoor and indoor trials at that time. There were a lot of really competitive riders.
Yeah, that thing of looking to the side like this, I copy this a little bit from the bullfighters. In Spain, we have the bullfighting and all this, and
Okay.
many times when the bullfighter is with the bull and looks to the public, at the same time, the bull is passing around him very close. So
Uh-huh.
it's something that I inspire on this, and I was doing it a lot, and I really enjoy. Some riders are still doing at the moment, so
Yeah.
it's just a differential move. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, first World Championship,
Three. Indoor.
three,
Indoor three. And outdoor five.
five.
And the top riders, they were Doogie and Fuji. And this was the main reason which I could not achieve earlier than that the championship. I thought in this moment I was ready to win already in 2003, or I had a very big level also in 2002. Maybe not to win in 2002, but with a better bike and a better experience in this moment, and with a bike more fit and more ready, I could win earlier than 2005. But also I have two guys that were Dougie and Fuji, which they were outdoor specialists. Dougie was coming to win more titles than no one in the history, and also Fuji was coming to win the last his title in 2004. So for me, it was hard to make all the full performance in the outdoor, and also many people was talking about, okay, Raga is very good in the indoors, but he will never win the outdoor championship because he's not good in outdoor and this. No. So to win in 2005 was to show that was possible, and also to show that was possible to beat the best rider in the history until this moment, that was Dougie Lamkin with 12 titles. No.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose people sort of forget just how dominant Dougie was at that time. I mean, he won seven outdoor titles on the bounce, which I can remember people saying back then, nobody will ever equal that. So
yeah, and Dougie was a rider that makes a big difference with the contenders. I remember in '98 going to race, Dougie after the race 15 points, and I was on 90 points. So I was thinking, how is possible 19 points or 20 points and I'm on 90? You
yeah,
know, he was miles away of the others.
yeah.
He was so good, no? So, but after, with the work, hard work, and everything, this distance, but fast, I closed this distance. So, but was very big distance.
four X Trial World Championships, two outdoor World Championships. What do you see as your sort of which one of those would you rank as maybe the best achievement, or what, or one that stood out that maybe it was difficult to win, or you had a lot of tight battles maybe with other rivals?
For me, the first indoor World Championship was amazing because was so fast. I started to compete in X-Trial Championship in 2002, which I already make podium the first year. I make third place, and then on 2003, I wanted to win, but I was not expecting to win, and I win with one race in advance. So was very big satisfaction, but also my first outdoor, where many people was saying that will be very difficult for me to win. To achieve also this championship was I was very proud after that.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember when Tony started to ride. I'm trying to remember what the trial was. But I remember a lot of people talking about him sort of coming along, and he was going to be a talent. But did you did you see that at that time? Did you see sort of the talent that Tony had, and was
No,
that no?
no. At that time, when Tony was riding Beta, uh, he was a good rider. I think he started in 2003 or 2004
Yeah,
to
three or
ride,
four.
and he was making very good and good results and everything. He had a very particular technique and moves, but in my case, I didn't expect that he was having such a big talent. In this moment was, for example, Jeroni Fajardo making much better results, and he was much more effective than Tony in many rounds. And in the reality, in this moment, I was more like watching Jeroni to be like attention with him than with Tony. But it's true, when he moved to Montesa, they put everything together, big team, big bike, and everything. His talent explodes, and then he became what he is. No, he's an incredible rider and very talented. No, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's true. In this moment, he was a good rider, but in my case, I didn't expect so good.
yeah. So it wasn't sort of immediately obvious that he was. he was going to become some sort of a phenomenon. Like
Oh,
no. um, and I suppose obviously um, over the course of the last what 20 years, that rivalry between yourself and Tony has probably, I mean, it's probably gone through different phases. I noticed actually you'd put a video out on your socials there the other day, that you were sort of practicing with him. Was that just ahead of the Barcelona indoor? Was that just like a
yes,
little sort of
just
practice
before the
session?
Barcelona indoor. Yes.
Yeah, just for a bit of fun.
Yes, we in our career we have been practicing together several times, but not many times because when you have a big contender, everybody prefer to measure each other in the races and don't show anything in the practice and just keep it for
Yes.
you and trying to do like this. But of course, we had some nice trainings together in the past, and we were saying in the last months to make a training together. Hey, we should meet and make the last training together and this and that. And in the last week, we call each other and I say, hey, Tony, or we do it now or we will not do it. And then we met and we make this training that was very nice day together and with very nice videos that come up in the Instagram channel.
Yeah, no, it looked like the two of you were genuinely having a lot of fun. Um, so uh, if we go back, sort of take a step back from that, obviously you spent most of your career on gas,
Mhm.
and then 2014, was it end of 2014? Gas Factory got into some financial difficulties, and then obviously Jordy had
15,
started the whole
15, but
15.
in the beginning, in the middle of in April, March, April, May of 15.
Uh-huh. And then that led to the collaboration then with Jordy and the TRS, which was hugely successful, probably more successful than a lot of people thought it was going to be.
Yes, after Gas end on 2015, I still had like, I think 3 more years contract with Gas because I signed that year for 3 years. So, but was like this was a bankrupt from one company. So I need to move forward. I had different offers from other companies to finish the season, but in this moment, my first goal was to finish on good condition. I was already having a good bike, and I was having the preseason with this bike. Everything was ready, so I decided to make my private team. I very fast find the sponsor who helped me a lot was Niels. In this moment, in 2 days, I had the sponsor of Niels. Also, Red Bull helped me in this moment. So I decided to ride as a private, and I think in this year I win 5 rounds from the World Championship, and the winner that was Tony, he wins 6 rounds. So it was a very good year for me finally. And in this moment arrived the TRS, was ready, and everything go perfect. No, it's true that many people tell me you are crazy. You've been 1 year that you've been losing your company, and now you sign for a new company that is gonna fail in 1 or 2 years, or you are risking too much signing with a new company. But I like the project. I like the TRS, and I thought it will be a success, and as it is. So after everything happened and was fantastic, 8 years.
Yeah, yeah. And I suppose if we take a step back again, actually, so the final year then on Gas, obviously a private team, you had a really really good year. Do you think that sort of having to sort of find your own sponsors and run that team privately, do you think that gave you maybe some more motivation or?
Possible give me a motivation, but I must say that the the year before we were fighting for the championship in the last round, and I was very close to win the championship in 2014, and in 2013 we fight the championship in the last lap of the last race where I lost very close also. So the last years in Gas, I was very competitive. The team they built around me with the mechanic, the manager, the minder was a very nice team, and this helped me a lot to be competitive. And I was very close in those years to become world championship. Finally, I didn't become, but I was close.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sort of people forget, don't they? People just forget how close actually it was for 2 or 3 years there.
Yeah, in 2012, 2013, in the first lap of the last race, I was world champion in this position because I was leading and Tony was third, and I only was 5 points difference. But then was two more laps when things changed in the last lap, but was close. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, hell of an achievement. Hell of an achievement. So the TRS, the TRS project, um, how did you or how did you get involved with that? Did you want some sort of did you develop the bike or was the bike already sort of in place whenever you arrived there, or did you help sort of form all that together, or how did
the
that come
bike
about?
was the bike was built already about materials and weight and everything. It's true that was like a standard bike. After we worked to make it performance about the engine, about the clutch. With this, I help, but the bike was already made. The good thing of the gas that didn't I with the sorry with the TRS that didn't happen with the Pro that was very fast, a bike that was not breaking all the time. Like this happened with the Gas Pro. We were more time repairing that than improving. So with the TRS, fast the bike was good and was not breaking, and we could develop the bike very fast to be competitive. It's true that I was not as competitive as with the gas because I think in the gas in the last years I make the bike as I want and I could move everything around as I feel better. And with the TRS, this was a limitation. We could not do much more than what we have in the standard bike, and my performance was not as good as with the gas.
And when you say it had some limitations, do you mean like moving or changing geometry or engine characteristics, or what sort of?
Yes, I was not like allowed to fit it to my riding that much. It was more like Jordi who decide everything, and was hard because I think the bike was very good, and with the good work we could be like very competitive, but we struggle with that.
Yeah. Um, Actually, on that, I mean, you've obviously moved on to Sherco now, and there's obviously that's quite a technologically, I suppose, in terms of trials anyway, quite a technologically advanced bike.
Yeah.
Um, but where do you see? I mean, we'll talk more about that in a second. But where do you see the next? What do you see as the next development in trials? Do you think it'll be electric, or do you think it'll be fuel injected? Do you think it'll go back? I don't know. What do you see?
Yeah, I think the first of all will be the fuel injection, and going over all the Euro 5 plus, Euro 6, that this will only happen with the fuel injection, and it's already happening. No, then these bikes can only be on the road when going over this, and this is absolutely necessary. So for me, this year with the Sherco has been fantastic because they trust on my way. They do anything I need on the bike, and you can see it very fast in the results and also on the bike performance. The bike performance has been fantastic, not only with me, also with the other riders in the team. And but we had like we work a lot, and they trust a lot on what I say. Also at the beginning when I was riding the carburetor was very important for me to put everything on place and to set up the bike perfectly before of moving to the injection bike, because if not you have many things to get lost with.
Yeah.
So make everything step by step, even if this affect a little bit in the in the confidence of the market for the bike. But the factory understand perfectly which was my my way, and finally, I think now we have a very competitive bike that the public is liking more and more.
So this year, obviously, I mean, you've retired. You retired from the Trial GB Championship, obviously at the end of the 24 season. You've decided to retire from X Trial as well there after the Barcelona trial. But I mean, surely you must have been thinking after the results that you've had, particularly at X Trial, you must be thinking, oh, I might just ride the end of the season.
No, really, really no.
No.
Yes, of course, of course, of course. If if physically I was 30 years old and I was feeling good to do it, of course, I will prefer to be a rider. To be a rider is the best thing in the world. The only thing is, I'm 42 years old. I know I'm damaging my body a lot with this kind of training, with this kind of races. And there is one moment that you must stop. And for me, I know I'm in a good moment. I'm riding like the best riders in the world, but I've been doing this for all my life, nearly. So I think in this moment, it was the right time where to say to stop, and it's a perfect moment where I still on the top.
Well, you certainly went out on the top.
Sorry,
That's for sure.
I just take a drink.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. I'll take one too.
Sorry, because I'm getting dry from too much
Oh, that's
talking.
right. I usually have a cup of tea anyway, just in case. Um, a dream end really to what has been an incredible career over the years. To be able to stand on the, but especially getting second place, obviously in Barcelona, which was like home trial for you.
Yeah, but all the season since I started in Madrid was fantastic. The end of last season, I was very close to getting some finals, and then I race in Chambéry where I win the first lap, best rider in the first lap, fourth at the end. Then I race in Clermont-Ferrand with the third place, also very close to make second place in Clermont-Ferrand, second in Sheffield, and second in Barcelona. It's not like you can say, it was a one day lucky, but I think I was competitive in all the rounds. But also it's thanks to the bike. Last year, the bike was very new for me. We start to work only in January, and the bike was not ready until summer, let's say. On the how it is now was not ready until September. So
Yeah,
I think we were working with all the team and everything, and we arrived at the end at the best moment. But as I say, for me was the right moment to stop, just for the impact that this sport have in your body, and it was just the moment.
yeah. And I suppose obviously too, obviously new young family. You've your priorities maybe obviously have changed um, as well. You have to think a bit more about that too, spending more time with them rather than out practicing on a bike.
Yes, of course. The family is always pushing a lot. You want to be more time with the family, spend time in the weekend. I like to be with my son and my daughter more, and also this is it's normal, but it's not the main reason. But everything helps.
Yeah, and well, obviously Max is um, getting quite good on the bike as well. Is that a future another future Raga world champion? Do you think?
I don't know. I think it's difficult to say. For me, I will love it, of course, but I think this is very, very difficult. It's nearly impossible. But I don't know. Let's see. Now, in this moment, my only goal is that he grow as a very nice kid, that he makes sports, any sport, and he get the same values of life that as I get when I was young. After that, of course, if he wants to ride trial or do anything, I will give him 100% my support. And but anything he does, I want it that he do it right.
Yeah, and enjoys it.
Yes,
That's the biggest thing.
yes.
Um, so for your future, then obviously you're still tied in with Sherco, not riding. Are you going to maybe take like a team manager role or something like that? Or
Not for the moment. For the moment, I will not be team manager. I will just be involved in the development of the bikes, where I have a lot of experience. Do all these years. I will be also involved in the development of the racing bikes and the new projects coming on. But I will be not as a manager. I will visit some races. I will be there watching also the other brands and everything, analyzing what is going on. But I will be not there as a manager.
no? And I see, obviously you're Raga school as well, so you've got some guys coming through. It's good to see Jack Peace. Obviously, he's been spending a bit of time with you, and also I see Harry Turner as well. So it's
Yes.
good to see some young British guys there.
Yeah, Raga School is a school that happened with first Sondre Haga was the Norwegian importer that I explained that was a project that I had for the future when I will be retired. But the the TRS importer and gas importer from Norway, he pushed me. No, I have a rider now that is very good. You must take him, and he pushed a lot. And I say, okay, let's go. I start with the Raga school, and the reality is that with Sondre we had a super success. He go from being 29th or 30 in 3L2 to became world champion in 4 years, and also after in between that arrive also more riders in Raga school, and my goal is to transmit them the way I do the things, the way I prepare the bikes, the way I take care of anything happen around me, physical condition, diet, racing. When you have problems in the race, I try to transmit them and help them every day with all these things. And I'm very proud that also with the work that we've done with Peace last year, after finally he became 3L2 world champion, means that we had two world championships already in that young school. And this is fantastic because I see how the riders improve and get better. And this year is also Peace doing a very, very good job. He's been here in the last months training very hard. And I think this year he will achieve also very good results in 3LGP.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so. He's a really nice lad. We've had him on the channel a couple of times talking about various things. So I'm fingers crossed that he makes a good step into trial GP. I think he's got at least he's got a good mentor. He's got a good mentor anyway.
Yeah.
And I think actually, in fairness, he's probably got one of the best minders. Jamie, I think, is a really really good minder.
Yeah, he's making a very good job, Jamie, with him, and both make a very good team. And the effort they put on the training and the preparation and everything, it's very good. So for sure, the results will come.
Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully so. Right. I think that's I think that's pretty much it. I think we've covered pretty much everything there, Adam. Again, I just want to thank you for taking the time to come and have a quick chat with us. It's an honor, really. I think that's what I like so much about trials is that it like I don't know of another sport where I could sort of message a 6-time world champion and ask them to have a chat on Zoom. It's a bit of a random one. In fact, interesting. Just a little interesting point. I've had quite a few of the English guys. I've had the Hemos on previous episodes, and Jack Peace, Jack Dance, all those guys. But there's only one person that I've had on this channel that has actually sat at this table, and that's you.
Yeah, yeah. We know each other from long time,
Yeah,
and for me, as I say, it's a pleasure to be here and to transmit a little bit of my things to everyone. So
Yeah,
I,
yeah. No,
I enjoy it.
it's great. If I can find, I have a picture somewhere of you sitting here. I think you're sort of doing this in the picture, like full gas, and I think you were telling a story. I think you were telling a story about the time you rode a MotoGP Ducati at Valencia. Is that right?
Possible, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And
I
the mechanics.
I tested MotoGP in Valencia. Was incredible experience, and I go off the track in one corner. I go out. I could not stop the bike because this. But yeah, it was funny. All the mechanics put the hand in the head, like, oh, he destroyed the bike, but no, I didn't fall, just on the
No,
sand, but was good.
the trial skills helped you.
Yes, of course.
Brilliant, Adam. Again, thank you so much. It's been really
Or
good. Been really good to have a chat with you. Wish you and your family obviously all the best in the future, whatever it is you decide to do. And I'll see you in Scotland.
yes,
I'm chuffed actually. I'm really pleased you're coming to ride it. Really pleased.
thank you. We will try to enjoy these 6 days, have fun, and be close to the riders, to the public, and just make a good party.
Yeah. No, we'll do that. All right. We'll do that. Thank you very much indeed, Adam.
Thank you. You're welcome.